Alright, finally got some good sun and some time to be able to do it in my good camera. So here's your overall shot of the car. Cleaned it up. I didn't do a wonderful job, but I just got a basic cleanup on it. Just give you some overall shots of it here. By the way, that cord is the wideband I've got sticking out. You see the T37s and the stop techs up front. I'll get some close-ups of those. And the 99 spec brakes in the rear. Just giving you an overall view, and then I'll talk about a lot of specific stuff. You got the 99 spec taillights, Racing Beat dual tip exhaust. Alright, big ticket items here. A lot of stuff's been redone on this car. The paint job, we'll see if we can't get, it's reasonably shiny there across the hood. These are just primered. They're not painted at all. And then I believe this side was repainted at some point. The front bumper I told you about was not the original one, so you can see, hopefully you can see a lot of the cracking. It basically was painted with a non-flexible one. 99 spec lip as opposed to a 93 to 95 one. So it sits out a little wider. It's got brake ducts. I also, this has the lower thing that has, I don't know what they're called. Anyways, they're designed to funnel air out back to here. Let's see if it shows. I'm not going to be able to show it. Anyways, it's there. So that's about, $50 or $60 a side for each one of those, sometimes upwards of $100 for the part that goes back in there. Otherwise it just directs it underneath the panel underneath. Let's see here, what else have I done? Big ticket items. These were powder coated, this was repainted. I've got to reposition those. There is a trim piece that goes right here that's coming from the Mazda dealer. It runs across, you can see the gap right here. Have it coming in. I also have two brand new handles. You'll see the other side's in worse shape. It's got some pitting and stuff, but I have brand new handles to put on there. When I talked about the mirrors, you can just see they're maybe not quite as shiny, and then the other side has a couple of marks out here as the big ticket items. Alright, the TE37s, let's take one here to the front. I didn't really even clean these up, but they were powder coated. I talked to you about the fact that basically the lip, like some of the areas of the lip is what was welded back up because it had been goobered up. I don't think, this may have been one that didn't have any. I don't see any. I'll show you on one of the other ones. Stop tech brakes, they're in decent shape. And then I just had the Falcon RT615s, and they're basically just about time to be replaced. The inner fender liner here, I don't think it'll show it, but anyways, there we go. You can see there's a hole where when I did my high-speed run I told you about, it basically came back and went into the tire. These are about 60 bucks a piece to get new ones, and it's actually worth it because the airflow goes up, over, and out. And what it does is it basically, the oil cooler will go in there when you put one in, and so it directs the air. It doesn't matter if it goes straight out or not. It's personal preference, I think, probably. I also have 4 brand new ones of those that have been zinc coated, for what that's worth. Let's see here. In the rears, you got the 99 spec basically has 1, 2, 3 circles versus a continuous opening with just yellow and red being here. I just scraped this. This just comes off. This is nothing. Right now, that was me just pulling some stuff out. I replaced the antenna with this aftermarket one and set it up a little straighter, or on a way that I like it. Okay, the parts I was talking about, this happens to be the one that has some of the gouges on it right here, right there, right here. I think there's some, yeah, up there and a little bit there. So that was the one that I was carrying something and it rubbed into it. And then, let's see, I believe you can see on this one, Well, anyways, you'll see where it's just ever. Okay, here's the front tire that shows. You can see just a little bit of waviness right there. Some brake dust. Anyways, that was basically what was kind of cleaned up, and it didn't quite get perfect. Again, there's some right there. I can feel it. It's really not noticeable. Most people have no idea it's even there. A little bit of tar that I got to get off. This is what I was talking about. This one's not in quite as good a shape, but I have a brand new one, never been used, and then this is that trim piece that I have coming in. Let's see here. Those are big ticket items on the outside. Let's go to the hood and the trunk. Alright, did not really clean this up at all, so you get what you get as far as the view here. But you've seen pictures of the engine, nothing really new here. There's a couple things I'll talk about that I'm going to fix, what I've done, what will need to be looked at in the future. Right now I have the mass airflow sensor hooked up. It is currently not running off the mass airflow sensor, it's running off speed density. I'm working, I've got about half the curve set up, and as soon as I get the rest of the curve, basically the calibration curve, then I can switch it over to that and it'll run a little bit better. Get slightly better gas mileage is really the only effect. It doesn't affect top power at all. These are those fender liners. Without them you have a big gap, so you need them in there. The hole that's there is not really a big deal. But a lot of the wiring I just cleaned up around here. There's some wiring coming for the two fans. I don't know if you can see them. Anyways, you can see that's a pretty dang big motor on that fan. On one of the two, and then all of these were up here originally and I cleaned them. I actually have a new one coming for this, and right here is where the electronic power steering pump is going to go. I have a bracket that I built and I'll show you, and so that will clean up a little bit more around there. So big ticket items, let's see here. Some of the stuff that I fabricated and set up was, these are the heater lines. The AC lines are back here. I don't know if they're going to show up. Anyways, they'll come up through here, and there'll be a dryer here, and obviously there's the connector. A little dirty, but there's the connector for the condenser, or sorry, the compressor when you get it, and then it just comes up to, it'll go down in here to meet up with the front of the radiator. The radiator you can see is right here. Sorry, my shadow is messing up, and that's just the intake. Nice big, definitely contributes to some good power production. I have this K-Tech aftermarket tensioner. I think I would probably go back to a stock one, because at times the belt will then come out. There's really no signs of it, but it does rub it a little bit. Also have a aftermarket 10 degree damper, or 10% smaller damper, I forget. It's a fluid type dampener or something like that. Anyways, I plan to put a lower thermostat in there. There's a 195 degree thermostat in here right now. I'm going to put a 180 degree thermostat, so that's one of the things I'm going to change. I'm going to go ahead and finish installing the power steering pump in here. I'm going to flush out the fluid in the clutch, which I'll show you in a minute, and I am going to clean up one of the valve cover gaskets. When I reinstalled it a long time ago, the gasket got twisted and then came back, and you can see right here it basically just leaks out oil. I finally figured out what it was, and so I just need to pull that off, clean it up, and then put it back on. It's just because I screwed it up when I reinstalled it and I didn't recognize it. Did things like the clutch line here I've got with a high temperature protector for the headers. You got headers on it. There's all kinds of little stuff that I've done, like let's see, here's the power wire going down to the alternator, and then it goes underneath, and it's Adele clamped all the way around to the starter, and then the starter is grommeted up through the frame rails, and just a lot of little things that I've done. You've got this aftermarket catch can for the PVC system. One's the clean side and one's the dirty side, and the dirty side actually, will on a lot of high RPM runs fill up. You just drain it out at the bottom with a little turn. I got a little messy there. What other things have I done? I powder coated. That's a little bit of over spray from polishing a long time ago, but these were powder coated. A bunch of the metal pieces were powder coated and cleaned up. You've got a 929 master cylinder, basically a 1-inch master cylinder, a lot like what we do on the 240s. Gives you better pedal response for the bigger brakes.